Yo. What up? It's your boy, Coach 24, with another one. Hope everybody's having a good day today. We're going to be talking to the ultimate doll maker. You understand what I'm saying, son? We're going to be talking to the ultimate doll maker. You know what I mean? So I hope everybody's feeling good today. You know what I'm saying? And all that. It's your boy, Coach 24. We're going to get into this in just a second. Anonymity, what's going on? I see her. So we're gonna be talking to the ultimate dog maker today. You know what I mean? OG Green Lantern. Shout out to OG Green Lantern. Shout out to the Rip Rap Squad. Shout out to the comic dudes. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody out there that's feeling good. You know what I'm saying? Doing good. I had to get my beard shaved up for this one. You know what I'm saying? So I see her. Let me go ahead and invite her in. Motivation. Much love, motivation. That's my partner right there. Motivation. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and invite the Miss Ma'am in. Questions. Do whatever you would like. Y'all see her. Make your moves, baby. Make your moves. 2023. Hey.
Hey,
Hey.
hello.
How you doing? How you
I'm
doing? How are
I'm
you doing?
well. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Oh,
Can you hear me too?
yes.
All right. Now, before we even get started, because I want to know, tell me how to pronounce your name the right way.
How did I know you were going to say that? So, my friends from Nigeria tell me, because I'm American, it's a
Okay.
it's a Ghanaian name. They tell me I've been saying it wrong. I don't speak any other language but English. Apparently, it's
Okay.
Ajwa, but I'm American.
Aj-
We pronounce the D, Adwa.
Adwa. Okay. So which one would you prefer?
Um, Gosh, I have so many nicknames. Whichever is easier for you, but Adwa's fine. That's fine.
Adwa. Okay. Okay. Adwa. Because before I do an introduction, I wasn't finna be messing up your sister's name. You know what I'm
I
saying? I
really
can't do
appreciate that,
that.
but I've heard it all,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
nothing you could have said would have surprised me.
Okay. So, um, we'll get on here and get started.
Okay.
I am always Cooks 24. For those tuning in now, for those that are tuning in later, thank you for tuning in. We're talking to Miss Audua
Mhm.
Cooper
Yes.
of Cali, creator and owner of Audua Designs,
Yes.
custom crochet
Yes.
dolls. Very, very dope. Might I add? Let me just throw that in. Homemade in Cali. Also, you were part of the California Crafts Competition 2022. Um, Check out her link tree. You know what I'm saying? She has, she got the email sign ups. You can buy her coffee. Check out her Amazon page. Check out her Stitch Lab jams, Facebook info, and more. And what caught my attention was your saying, and I thought it's real cool, snappy. Like, oh, okay, perfect gifts with personality, or the perfect gift with personality.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? As an introduction for you, and uh, like OG say, hip hopper for life. You definitely are hip hopper for life. I want to give a shout out to OG because he's the one who showed me who you was,
Yes. I can't
and
thank him enough.
I'm
Wow.
OG is a big brother of mine, big brother, and a big brother in life. He's a big brother of mine, and he's been one very, what can I say? What's the word? Major figure since I know him, helping me and just helping me meet people and network. And he was like, "Yo, I know this lady. She cool.
Wow.
She makes some dope dolls." And he was like, "She make dolls that look just like people." And then he showed me, and I was like blown away. You know what I mean? So you are very talented, Miss Ottawa. Let me just go ahead and squeeze it in. So
Thank
my
you.
first question will be, how are you doing today? How was your week? How's everything
Wow.
going?
This week has been crazy because I've been anticipating this. And before I forget, thank you, OG Green Lantern. He is like, I always call him my virtual BFF. We've never met in real life, but he's amazing. He's one of my biggest supporters, and it's overwhelming. People I've never met before are some of my biggest supporters, and people I see every day, not so much. So I appreciate him so much. I appreciate you for this opportunity, but this week has been bananas, but I have been anticipating this. So I'm glad to be here. I'm nervous, but I'll be fine.
Nah, don't be nervous. I'm a pretty easygoing
Okay.
person, Virgo, so I'm real calm, cool, collective, laid back. I I'm not don't rush at all. Take your time elaborating on anything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I might ask you the question fast, but I want you to take your time answering. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
just be comfortable. We good.
Okay.
Cause you teaching me. I'm learning. I'm the learner right now. You the teacher. I'm the learner. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I know I'm from Alabama, so I know I might have that down south type of thing.
Oh, my family's
So
from
if I
Louisiana.
said,
We're good. We're good.
okay, let's get into it
Mm-hmm.
then. Okay, so um, perfect gifts with a personality, Miss
Yes.
Audra. Um, just in your
Mm-hmm.
brain, what does the true meaning of that? Like what do you want people to get out of that when you say that?
It took me a long time to come up with that tagline. I had a lot of good business mentors, people that don't even know they were mentoring me, encouraged me in ways they have no idea.
Hmm.
But coming up with that actual tagline, it made me think deeply about what do I want to present to the world? What do I want my legacy to be?
Hmm.
Because it's unique what I do, but there's other doll makers. There's so many other doll makers out there that do what I do, but we all do it our own way, right? So before I came up with that, I was thinking, or I was taught to think of specific words that I want to convey to people. Um, and you can't just say, yeah, I make dolls. What's special about your dolls? So I had to think like, what is it about my dolls that make them different than other doll makers, right? Because there's other custom doll makers, right?
Hmm.
So I just did a lot of word play and was like, well, what is significant about these? Like you said, they kind of look like the person that I'm making. A lot of them are dead on. So I went with the word personality, right? So I figured, okay, we got the personality part, and then what else? And like, well, it's for people that kind of have everything, you don't know what to buy for them. So I figured I'd target in on someone who's looking for a gift and they don't know what to buy for someone. They have pretty much everything. So that's how I came up with that. The perfect gift with personality instead of just, oh, it's the perfect doll. It's like someone would say, well, what's so perfect about it? So
Hmm.
everyone has unique personality. All of my dolls are unique. They're one of one. So that's how I came up with that.
Okay. All right. How how long have you been running your own business? Like
Ooh.
when did you create it? You know what I mean? Like
Um, Technically, I made my first sale I think it was 2009. Some lady in France is wearing a hat that I wore. It blows my
wow,
mind. I started
wow.
off making scarves and I drove my family crazy. Every Christmas, everybody got a scarf. And then I graduated to hats and then everybody got a hat. And they're like, please, we have enough hats and scarves. Do something with this. So my father told me one day, you should start selling these. Use that internet. He's so funny. So I went on and thought about it and I was nervous. And then a friend at work, I hope he's watching this. I don't know. I didn't check to see he's watching. But his name is Nolan. I will always cherish him because he started asking me to make him custom scarves and this and that. And that's what gave me the courage to put stuff online. So technically, to answer your question, my first sale was in 2009, but as a legit business where the feds knew about me business, I
Hmm.
didn't really start
Hmm.
until 2015. So I took, I did some
Okay.
stuff, under the table, but I became a legitimate business in 2015.
2015.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, your love for crocheting.
Yes.
Where did that? How? Okay, hold on, man. I said right. Your love for crocheting. How long have you been crocheting, and where did that
Ooh,
love come from?
I started in 2008, so a year before I made my first sale. Um, it started on a lunch break, if you can imagine that. At the time, I was working at Napa State Hospital. My 9 to 5 is as
Mm-hmm.
a nurse, right? So I've been an RN,
Okay.
and I had my lunch break, and I'm being nosy. I'm walking around in the building, and I go into this break room, and there's all these rehab therapists in there, right? And there's other therapists in there as well. And the energy just hit me. Everyone was in there talking and eating and stitching. One person was crocheting, one person was knitting. I think one person was doing either needlepoint or embroidery, but it just blew my mind. I was like, whoa, I want to do this. I didn't know what they were doing, but I wanted to do it. So one of the ladies, she was so kind. She said, oh, you want to learn how to knit? I'll show you how to knit. So she sat down, went in her bag. I had no idea how generous crafters were. She had an extra set of needles in her bag. She had extra yarn. So she started showing me the basics. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I go home and I forgot everything she taught me. Everything. And I was like, I don't know what to do. So, um, mind you now, this was 2008. So I went online. YouTube it wasn't nearly what it is now. So I did a search,
Mm-hmm.
knitting. Basics or whatever. So I started watching the videos. I'm like, oh, this is what she said. So I started doing it again. So I was so excited. I went back the next day and I showed her. I said, look, I did it. And she goes, yeah, you keep going. So she taught me just the basics. Then the lady sitting across from her was crocheting. And I was like, wait a minute. You're using one needle. And she goes, no, it's a hook, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, so this is knitting, that's crocheting. She goes, yeah, crocheting's a little bit faster. And then I was like, I think I want to do that because knitting is very intricate and delicate. So, you can do
Mm-hmm.
larger knitting, but when you're new at something, like, oh, I want to be fast at this. So I switched over to crochet. So I'm kind of odd
Okay.
because I do both. Most people either knit or crochet, and people don't know that about a lot of crafters. Um,
Okay.
it gets really interesting. It's like the Bloods and the Crips. It's like you're either a knitter or you're a crocheter, and I do both. So I'm
Mm.
very odd, right? But if I have a
What's the
preference,
difference? What's the
okay.
difference? What's the difference?
Do I have it? I don't have my knitting needles close, but like for example, this is a crochet hook, right?
Okay.
Crochet, you're literally going one loop at a time.
Okay.
So that's a crochet hook. This is more than you need to know, but these are double pointed knitting needles. So just pretend it's just these.
Okay.
So when you see someone with two, they're knitting, right? So when you see
Oh,
someone
okay.
with two, it's knitting. With just one hook
Okay.
and the yarn, it's crochet. So that's the
Oh.
difference. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's a little different. Some people say crochet is more just crafting, but knitting is fashion, and we've totally just uh, proven that. There was just Crochet Fashion Week, so so I get, I kind of get why people say that because some knitting lays, it's the way it lays, like a garment lays up against you. Crochet, the stitches can be a little bit bulkier, so I see why people say that, but it's both fashion. They're both art. You cannot tell me because I do both that one is here and one's here. That is nah. But technically though, I just told you the difference. One is with two instruments and crochet is just with the one hook. So yeah.
Okay. Now my little buddy in here, Mel B. She said that she know how to do both too, but she said that she want to get better at crocheting.
Well,
What advice would you have for her?
just keep going. Don't listen to people telling you anything. I had so many people, oh, you're a nurse. Why do you want to crochet? Because I want to crochet and I'm a grown woman. I'm going to do what I want to do. That's why. So just don't
Mm-hmm.
listen to other people. If you have the passion to do it, do it. and keep doing it. And like I said, there's people all over YouTube. I've been asked to do more videos. It's just, I just haven't had time to do it yet, but there's so many good teachers on YouTube. Um, just keep going. Just don't buy expensive yarn, because I used to lose my mind in these really, it's out in Napa, but I think they closed. It really broke my heart. They have fashion yarn, and then they have like beginner. Like if you go to Walmart or something, or Michael's, that's kind of like yarn that's not fashion yarn. It's not like, I can't even think right now. It it's I don't want to give you too much information about it that you're like, what is she talking about? But there's beginner
It's
yarn, and then
okay.
there's fashion yarn that you spend like $20 on this little ball, but you can get a bigger ball for like $4. So I would not recommend using fashion yarn as a beginner, but just get you some yarn, just $5 at Walmart, get you a hook, and just go at it and keep
Okay.
going. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then you heard her, Mel B. Don't listen to about some of my bug partners that jumped in. Shout out Feed the Community, Chef and Brim, my partner, Under the Brim podcast. Mel B. Don't listen to Chef. You heard what Miss Ardua said. Don't listen to nobody. Go get it. Actually, I go to the clearance
Yes.
section at Michael's for yarn. Go do it. You heard
Right now,
her.
Michael's is having
Okay.
a buy one, get one free. I am not being paid by Michael's, but they should, as much yarn as I bought from them, but that's another story. They're having a buy one, get one free right now, because I was there buying something this morning and I saw that. So, yeah.
Uh-huh. So, okay. Before I get to the next question, OG wanted to
Mm-hmm.
ask, uh, who was the first MC and who was the first DJ you presented dolls to?
Oh, wow. Ah, the first MC. Ah, Spice One. Yeah.
Mm.
And little
Tell the
background.
story. Tell the story.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, when did I've known him since elementary school. We went to elementary school together. We went to high school together. And then I
Really?
went in the military, came back home, and everyone's like, hey, Chico got an album out. I'm like, what? And that's how I found out about him. I was like, you're kidding. And
Wow.
so I started the knitting. I started the crochet. Started the crocheting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into the doll making. Um, I saw some dolls. I saw a Questlove doll made by Crafty is Cool. She is just like the goat when it comes to what I do. I learned how to do what I do from her book. It's called Amaguru Me. And I was like, wow, I want to make somebody. And who should I make? And I think he was in town for, I can't remember what he was in town for, probably a performance. But I reached out to him on social media, and I hadn't seen him. God, he graduated a year before me. So I hadn't seen him in
Mm.
over 20 years. I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird, but I'm going to reach out to him. Who knows what he'll say? And I was like, hey, congratulations. Continued success to you. But I said, can I ask you a question? Do you mind if I make a doll of you? Because, some people get a little weird about a doll made of them. They go into the whole voodoo thing, and then they know my
Uh-huh.
family's from Louisiana, and I'm like, whatever. But he was like, oh, that would be dope. Yeah. So sure enough, he told me where he was in town at, and we missed each other though. He had an event. I got out there too late. But I left the dolls for him, and sure enough, he got them. He loved them. And I remember him saying, thank you. And his mom took one of them because she liked it so much. And to me, that was the biggest compliment, you know. And rest in
Mm.
peace to his mom. I heard she really recently passed away. So that's, you
Okay.
know. But yeah, he was the first MC that I made a doll for. And then that just kind of gave me the confidence to keep going with it, right? So he was the first, gosh, who was the first DJ? Um, this is sad. I should know this. The first
Oh,
DJ, well, technically Jam Master Jay, because I remember,
what?
I was in here one day, just, I always have music on. I don't right now, obviously, but
Uh-huh.
just the whole concept, and I've kind of niched down to doing more hip hop dolls, right? I mean, I'll make anybody,
Mm-hmm.
but I love hip hop, as you can see. So I was listening to Run DMC one day, and I was talking online with my cousin,
Okay.
and she said, "Do you think you could make?" Actually, we were talking about Rick Ross for some reason, but I ended up making Run DMC. So technically, the first DJ
Oh.
I made was Jam Master Jay, a little mini Jam Master Jay.
Oh my God. Oh, that
Yeah,
is so dope. Miss Ottawa, I gotta go close this door. My
yeah.
roommate just left.
Go ahead.
Let me go close this. Let
I'll
me go come be right back.
get a sip of
Y'all stay
water.
tuned. And Mel B just said she follows you too.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I'll be right back. Y'all don't go nowhere.
Thank you. I'm so nervous. I wasn't reading the comments. All good?
I'm back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about
That's
that.
okay.
Woo. My bad. My bad. My roommate had left, and his partner was still here, and blase blase.
That's okay.
Anyway, Miss Ottawa Design, we back. We back. Okay. Woo. Mel B asked, do you prefer crocheting or knitting more?
Ooh. It kind of depends on what I'm making, but crochet is always going to be my passion. Um, I think more so because I'm better at it. I can
Mm-hmm.
knit, but crochet, what's the way to put it? It's more, it's more my passion. I do both, and and it's more unique, I think, because you can get things machine knit. You can't get anything. You can't program a machine to crochet. So to me, it's more unique. So I prefer
Okay.
crochet.
Okay. Okay. Now, here's a cool question I can ask you.
Okay.
Can crocheting also relate to the art of storytelling?
It definitely can. Um, in essence, I mean, if you make a doll of someone, like, I don't have it handy, but like a lot of libraries have asked for dolls locally. They'll have like a
Really?
whatever theme. Like for Black History Month, one of the local libraries asked for some doll makers to make some dolls. So it kind of relates to that person's story. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I know in knitting, is it called intarsia knitting? It's kind of like you're knitting pictures. So in that way, the pictures can
Oh,
tell a story. You can do it in crochet too, but I think it's most well known with knitting, but it definitely can. Um, for me, I think if you look at some of my dolls, I've had people tell me my dolls are educational to them because,
mm-hmm.
which in a way tells a story. Um, because you can't walk into a store, obviously, and buy what I do. And a lot of the hairstyles that I make, um, I've had a lot of, what's a good way to say it, non-people of color tell me that they learned a lot about our hair texture, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll tag me in a doll from like the 40s or something, saying, "Oh wow, look at this doll." And I've had to teach them, like, this doll represents an era that was not complimentary to my people. So the dolls I
Mm-hmm.
make, we take the time to pay attention to the texture, pay attention to the styles, If we're braiding their hair, we do it a certain way. So in a way, they do tell stories in their own
Okay.
way.
Ooh. And I like the quilt thing. I had to think about it. Excuse me. I had to think about it. That was a question that I thought up off the top of my head. But now that I think about it, at one of our last family reunions, we got a quilt that has different family members, knitted or in there. They
Mm-hmm.
in it. And there's a picture of me and my grandmama in there too.
Wow.
And I was like, I like when you said that, and as I was looking at the people talking, I was like, wow, I didn't think of that because you can't tell the story of our family without me and my grandma. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then the befores and the afters and everybody else, and then how you say that. Okay, that makes total
Yeah.
sense. That total sense. So let's let's take a couple steps back, and I want to ask you, uh, life growing up for you in Cali, as far as the scene and things that were there and aren't there anymore. You know what I'm saying? Just until you left to go to the military, what are some of good memories that you remember about growing up in the part of Cali that you grew up in?
Wow.
Because we have some West Coast, we have some Cali peoples up here, and some of my good buddies, so
Nice.
they'll probably remember or hear. So, yes, ma'am,
Oh,
platform
oh,
yours.
wow. I left home when I was 18. So I
Hmm.
saw the world through these little 18-year-old eyes, very naive. Um, just growing up in the Bay Area was just, I learned to appreciate it more when I left here. Because when I went in the military, I lived in Texas for 9 years. So growing up
Well,
in the diversity of the Bay and going to Texas, that was a little rough. But before I left, I just remember just having friends from every walk of life, from every background. Our school was just so diverse. I had
hmm.
people, one of my first friends, I think she was from Thailand or Taiwan. I can't remember now. But just more than anything, I remember just the diversity, the music. Um, I went to high school from 87 and graduated in 91. So think about the music during that era and the fashion. And I wish I had some pictures.
Mm.
I had, yeah, I had the hair and the polka dots. I went through my Kwame phase, everything just head to toe polka
Woo.
dots. Um, uh, if you remember the group Oaktown 357, have you ever heard of them?
Mm.
Google them.
I want them
Oh my
Google. Okay,
gosh.
okay.
There's a picture of me. It was ridiculous. I just was like, I want my hair like them. Um, it was just a wonderful time, a wonderful era growing up. It was when In Living Color came out, right? So
Mm.
imagine, remember the
Mm.
Fly Girls? Oh God, my dad, I thought he was gonna just put me on
Yes, I
restriction
definitely
forever.
remember.
He came home one day and I'm, watching the show, doing the moves. And I was like, Dad, I want to do that. He goes, you want to do what? I said, I want to be a fly girl. He was like, a fly girl? You better go. He had a fit. So
Uh huh.
I was just like, I love this. And this is before we knew who Jennifer Lopez was. We just knew Rosie Perez during the break was going to do these dope moves, and we all wanted to learn them. So it was just a wonderful time in music, in dance, in fashion. So those were some wonderful memories I had. Um, I was a little bit of a tomboy. I don't know if that's politically correct to say nowadays, but I liked sports. I was really into sports. I was into dance,
Ah.
um, but I was more so into sports, right? I played basketball, played volleyball for a minute, wasn't very good at it. I ran track. You wouldn't know it now, but
Hmm.
I was pretty fast. And into dance, sports, definitely into music. And that's one of my
Hmm.
regrets. Um, I My first instrument was the flute, right? And then I played a little bit of saxophone, got into percussion a little bit. But when I got to high school, I kind of got with a crowd that wasn't really into being in the band, you know. So I really regret
Mm-hmm.
getting out of music because I love music. To this day, I still love music. But, you know, being a band kid at that point was kind of like, really, you know, all my friends are doing this. You know, all my friends are sitting in the bleachers at the game. They're not sitting here with me playing in the pep band, you know. So I kind of, you know, I really regret that though. Because I love music. I always have, I always will love music. But a lot of great memories. And like I said, I appreciated my upbringing a lot more when I moved. I was in San
Okay.
Antonio, Texas from 91 until 99, right? And living in Texas, it was just so different. You knew when you were on the black side of town and the white side of town and the Latino side of town and then the down side of town nobody wanted to be on, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
it was just bizarre to me. But I'm glad I experienced it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it made me who I am today. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a good experience as that young person who, God, talking about it, it just seems like it's so long ago.
Just
Yeah.
question in the chat was what was your favorite sport at that age?
Ooh. Um, I was crazy. I really thought I was going to marry Michael Jordan. I seriously did. I loved basketball, right? And I'm very short. I'm only like 5'4", but I was fast. Um, I didn't have a left hand though. My dad would make me practice and make me use my left hand, and I never use it. And he was like, "You won't be any good unless you can use both hands, and they're gonna figure it out. They're always gonna drive you to your right hand." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." But I never got. I could use my left hand, but I wasn't very good at it. But I loved basketball. Oh, I loved basketball. To this day, I loved basketball. I was hopeful, as a lot of parents do. I was hopeful. I have two boys. I was hopeful they would go into basketball. But unfortunately, dad got in the way and pushed my oldest more towards football.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I was like, oh, well, I had to get over it. But I did.
Yeah.
I loved basketball. Second, I would say I loved track. Um, oh, and I played softball for a minute, but I wasn't very good at it. I played
Mm-hmm.
baseball as a young girl. Um, and that was pretty cool. I was the only girl on the team. So if you can imagine, I think it was like 84 maybe. Not too many little girls were playing baseball back then. And I was the only little girl out there and I was balling. And that was a good experience. I think it was I can't remember the year, but I remember we made it we made it to the championship and I was playing center field. And why
Mm.
did they hit the ball straight to me? And I can just remember being that kid like, oh my God, if I don't catch this ball, everyone's going to hate me. And luckily I caught it. And we
That's
won the
what's up.
championship. And yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And you said your favorite basketball player was MJ, right? Michael Jordan.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, let me slide this in. The Mel wanted
Okay.
to ask you that. Now, even though Magic Johnson is California's, you know what I'm saying, the Magic Man, you still take MJ?
Always. Always.
Talk
You know,
about.
I dated, oh God, I dated a guy, he loved Magic. He loved the Lakers. And I was just like, oh, whatever, you know. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it. So, you know, and I learned you don't just bandwagon and you know, you got your team, you stick with your team. That's just how it should be,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm with you. OG asked if you could present a doll to anyone in history,
Oh
no
my
longer here, who would it be?
Wow, he's gonna make me cry. If I could give anyone a doll, definitely Prince. I am. It still breaks my heart that he's gone, and I did a couple posts about it. It amazed me how this is a man I've never met in my life. I only had the opportunity to go to one of his concerts, and I swore he looked at me. I was sitting there, and it was like, I see you, Prince. I thought he looked at me, but my friend was like, no, he wasn't looking at you. Anyway, that would definitely be the person. I really regret not making the effort to get a doll to him. Um, I don't know if he'd like it because some people don't like seeing images of themselves. But I definitely would want to give one to him. And I regret not making the effort to do that. I made a doll of him, but I never made the effort to get it to him. So yeah.
Okay, okay. Motivation 2022 asks, would you take Magic or LeBron? That face, that face. Look at that face.
Okay,
Woo.
let me give you the background with this. I really didn't
Mhm.
appreciate in the playoffs when they were playing against Golden State, when Curry was on the ground and LeBron walked over him and his I don't want
Draymond,
no
Draymond,
no
Draymond.
not Draymond, when LeBron walked over him and literally his crotch grazed his forehead. I was so angry. If I was at
Yeah.
that game, I would have got arrested because I would have ran down there and punched him. That's sportsmanlike. And I don't care what the score is. I don't care how angry you are. And I'm saying this, I've gotten technical fouls. I've gotten kicked out of games. I've cussed out refs. That was just so uncalled for. And I lost a lot of respect for him. Yes, he's a wonderful player. Yes, he set the new record. But I will never forget that. So to answer
Mm-mm.
that question, out of those two, Magic.
Magic. That's what I'm talking about. That's just, and you know what? I ain't even. I already know it. If I say Kobe name, I already know you gonna get nothing but 100%. You know what I'm saying? Cause Kobe, that's my. When you say MJ, I can't say nobody else but Kobe. I don't care what the people on TV say. I don't care what
So
they say. You know what I mean? But that's our boy right there.
that's
Um,
another level. Yeah.
yes, yes. So segue into that. That's perfect.
Okay.
Your inspiration growing up and your inspiration now.
My inspiration towards just in general.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hmm. Growing up, mm, gosh, it was just what inspired me growing up. Um, I don't want to sound cliche, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I think as a kid, and I'm a daddy's girl to this day. My dad
Mm-hmm.
lives within walking distance from me. Um, I always, in the back of my head, yes, I made stupid decisions, but in the back of my head, I always wanted to make him proud because when I would see the look of disappointment on his face, that was painful, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So in the back of my head, I'd always make decisions like, okay, what would dad do in this situation? What would he expect me to do? Um, so my dad, he really inspired me to make good choices, I guess you could
Mm-hmm.
say. Um, but now, oh boy, so many things inspire me. Um, the biggest inspiration to me now, or I guess I should say as an adult, would be my children. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I remember when my oldest was born, it's something about these babies. This doctor hands his baby to you, no instructions. They're just like, here you go. Good luck, And I remember holding him thinking, oh my gosh, what have I done? Um, it just really inspired me to do the best. And I always tell him, you motivated me to go to school. You motivated me to finish school. Um, because his dad and I went our separate ways. But I always told myself, don't ever put yourself in a position where you're dependent on anybody. And that was something, kind of to piggyback what I said earlier, my dad taught me that. Society now, hang on a second. Yeah.
Go ahead.
The society now, I don't want to bring up KS, but
Mm-hmm.
there's this movement that, women just want to be so independent, and women, but I learned from my father, you become self-reliant so that you don't have to depend on anyone. So if you're in a situation, you can walk away and you're good. But when you're totally dependent on someone else, you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the popular opinion nowadays? Not so much, but women from my era, that's what we were taught. You get yourself together, you take care of yourself. So if you need to make moves, you can make moves,
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciated him teaching me that. It's made life very interesting, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
He's my motivator now. So yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, that's great. Not cool. That ain't just cool. That's great. You know
Thank
what I
you.
mean? Especially with the relationship
Yeah.
and the teaching. I definitely agree with you on how it was seemed like, and correct me if I'm wrong now, Miss Ardois, but it seemed like it was easier to learn 80s, 90s, early thousands than it is to learn now. You know what I'm saying? All right, Mel B, and it shouldn't be that hard to learn. Sometimes it could be the teachers. You know what I mean? Um, Working with where I work at, some of my coworkers, they 16, 17, 18, and
Mm.
some of their values and morals, the hard headedness. And I'm thinking to myself, just like I've heard before, if I had said that to my mama, if I had acted that way with my pops or my uncle or my grandma or my grandma, brother, great uncles and great auntie, they'll slap you fast. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I definitely agree with all that. You definitely, and that's something that I feel that's missing. We need better teachers. You know what I'm saying? In certain regions, in certain parts of our earth, we need better teachers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, so I read when I was looking at your profile and stuff. Your
Yeah,
first,
you
like you
did
was talking
your
about your.
homework. I
Of
really
course, I'm like,
appreciate that.
I got to, I got to, I got to. I can't embarrass myself. I got to. You know what I mean? I want to make a good impression. You know what I'm saying?
Excellent.
With Miss
I'm
Audua. You know what I mean?
excellent.
Thank you, Miss Audua. You know what I mean? I was trying to see which way I wanted to go, but from where we're at now, I think this would
Hmm.
be the great place to go right here.
Okay.
Your first dog collection, you said in 2015,
Hmm.
but I also read that you said that humbled you. You know what I'm saying? And it made you smile. But you also had a friend that would pursue their passion.
Yeah.
I take that and to ask you this. Number one, two-part question. Why did that collection humble you like that? And number two, what do you say to a person who won't make that leap, but they
Okay.
want to,
Right.
but they scared or
Right.
they shy?
Um, the word humbled, I think some people, now I'm not saying you, some people get it confused with humble as in it's shaming you. But
Mm-hmm.
it, for me, humbling just means unconceited, right? Um, we have a joke about your first collection when it comes out. Some people, they knock it out the park. They sell out. Some people, they don't sell one thing, but it's still a success because you did it. You put it out
Right.
there into the universe. You put it online, and the internet sometimes isn't so kind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, some of the comment, oh, you've got to have thick skin if you're going to put any of your
Mm-hmm.
art out into this world, right? People have nothing better to do than just like Kermit typing just nasty things. So
Yes.
when I say it humbled me, here it is. years later, I look at it and I see the progress that I made. But in that moment, I felt this is the best I could ever do, right? Um, it humbled me because I thought I knew so much, but I had so much to learn just with that first launch. It just opened up a whole world to me. But I'm glad I did it, and I can look back now and I smile at it like, whoo, you thought, that was it. This is,
Mm-hmm.
get ready. You're gonna get 1,000 orders, and you know how many dolls I sold out of that collection? There
I
were,
mean,
I think, like 10 dolls. I sold one doll. One
one.
doll sold out of that collection. Yes. So that's why I say it humbles me. It humbles me. But then it made
Ah.
me realize, okay, pivot. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna do this? Now, the second part of your question was, what do you say to that person that doesn't want to pursue?
They want to, like, say for instance, if somebody who's good at it, but they scared to take it to the next
Mm,
level, or they shy, or they just think it ain't good enough because it don't look like yours. You see what I'm saying?
that's the thing. I've had so many people, in our community, the whole fiber artist community. There's some people that are nice and some people that aren't so nice. But people, if someone takes the time to DM me, I'm gonna chat with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just let them know if they have tips, or if they want tips, or what should they do, or how should they do this. I'll try to help them. Um, but to the people that feel like, oh no, I don't want to put my art out there, oh, it's not good enough, I always tell them, only you can decide that. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, when you go to the store, uh, if you go in the bread aisle. Now, not that I pay attention to the new brands of bread that come out, but there's more than one brand of bread, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bread, what do you do with it? You make sandwiches, you make toast, you make peanut butter and jelly, kind of, But if someone's inspired to make bread, they're going to look at those and go, I make good bread. The world needs to see my bread too. I'm going to put it out there, right? So I wish I could bottle that motivation up and sell it to people that just need that push, because I have one friend, can't remember what she was trying to make. I can't remember if it was candles or soap or something. And
Mm-hmm.
granted, I make dolls. She's doing something else, but she was asking me, the basic marketing principles are the same, right? So I was explaining to her how to do it, how to open an Etsy shop. You could open up an Etsy shop in 10 minutes. If you got the time, you're motivated, you can have a shop up and running in 10 minutes. You got all your photos, put it there. Boom. You got a shop. You can start promoting yourself. Word of mouth is wonderful. I gave her the whole blueprint, what to do. I just told her A to Z. And she said, well, wow, this is so cool. Why would you tell me this? I said, because I wish there was someone to give me the blueprint. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
jumped out the plane and built it before I hit the ground, right? And along the way, I got some good mentors. And I said, but no one took my hand without me paying them, right? And told me what to do. So, well, except for a couple people. But she was like, okay, thanks. So I told her, and then I backed off. I didn't call her the next day. I didn't hound her. You're a grown woman. You want to do it, do it. I called her 3 months later. Do you think she opened the shop? Do you think she did one thing I recommended her doing? No.
No.
Because people look at me now and like people say, oh, I've never seen anything like you do. When did you start doing this? And when I tell them, oh, I started in like 2008, they're like, for real? So they look at what I do, they see the post of the celebrities that have my dolls, and they think all this happened overnight. No, 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 no. This takes time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone that's been in it spoon feeds it to you and you still don't do it, you're not meant to do it because it's not your passion. I can't give you my passion. I can give you the blueprint, but you need that passion. And if it's either sink or swim, you
You're right.
like, so there were so many people I had so much respect for that I told them I want to fuse hip hop and doll making and make it this thing. And I got this look. Really? Crochet
Mm.
and hip hop? Really? Do you really think that's going to work? So if I listened to those people, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. You know, giving your vision to someone else is like going to someone who's been blind all their lives. They don't know what colors look like. They don't know what a sunset looks like. And you're trying to explain to them what a sunset looks like. That's what it's like when you're trying to tell someone your vision, because it's your vision,
Mm.
right? You can't give someone you can tell them your idea, but they're not going to get it. But people get it now, you know. But back then they were like, really? You're going to combine these two things. So you can give people the blueprint, but a lot of people aren't going to do it. A lot of people want to talk. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
want your time. And that's the most
Mm-hmm.
valuable thing we have, our time, right?
Yes.
And people don't value that. They really don't value it.
No, they
So
don't.
that's why you
No, they don't.
make them value it.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right. Okay. Now, what are some one or two, maybe three, possibly four, good things about the crafts competition? Because I like that was dope. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
I done seen
you.
different things, different events, but seeing that like that and knowing that there's more people that you've met, networked with, took pictures with all that, it's so much. And then of course getting yourself prepared to get there. You know what I'm saying? That's a job in itself
Right.
too, I'd imagine. I got a brother, big brother named Spade, and he's a big dog comic collector. So when
Mm-hmm.
they do events in the next big cities, it's so much that he got to do. Get racks and get tables and blah blah blah. So tell me, like, what is that journey like? That event like? Is it a 2 day event, 3 day event? Tell me about your
Oh,
times. You
the
know what I mean?
California crafts competition, it's kind of like the competition part is like before the actual fair, right?
Okay.
So the fair, California State Fair, I want to say it's like a week, the last week of
Mm.
July every year,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So the actual component of the California crafts competition, they have typical state fair, like the jelly competition. They have all these different competitions. So I finally narrowed it down. I'm like, ooh, there's a fiber art part to this. Oh, okay. So it got my attention. And it all started when one of my business mentors, she was just like listing different ways to get your name out there, right?
Okay.
Because I'm kind of old school, and I used to think, oh, word of mouth is so wonderful. No, you got to try different ways to get to your people, because that's the key, getting in front of your target audience or ideal customer or something. So I figured the thousands of people that go to this fair, surely one of them is going to like what I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Little did I know I was going to start winning. So I've been the first place. Okay, it's 2022. Then COVID happened. So 2018, 2019, and 2022, I've been I'm the champ, so to speak, right? So I've
Yeah.
I've maintained my title all these years, which blows my mind because there's people that are so talented. I've seen some work, like you were talking about the quilts and
Mm-hmm.
just you name a medium of art, it's there, especially in fiber. So it blows my mind and it humbles me that you know third year in a row, I'm maintaining my title. So I appreciate that. But to answer your question, before the fair, the fair is kind of like showcasing the winner,
Mm-hmm.
but you figure out your category. So of course I'm going to pick doll making, right? Dare I say they made an amigurumi section because of me and this other lady, because every year we enter the dolls in the style that we do, and the style of dolls we do, it's crochet, but it's amigurumi, which is a Japanese word that means little stuffed or knitted doll, right? So now
Okay.
there's actually an amigurumi category. So, you know, you find your category, you pay your fees, you drop your dolls off. Now they've changed it. You have to send in pictures of your entry. So,
Hmm.
you know, you send it in, and I'm picturing these little old ladies looking at my dolls like, really? But what blew my mind is when the Black Panther dolls won. I'm getting goosies right now thinking about it, because I
Mm.
thought, I'm gonna enter this and let's see what happens, you know. Um, and the build up to that blew my mind. Um, I tried not to think about it, and I was online, and I can't remember her name, but she DM'd me and she said, "Have you seen the results?" And I said, "No, they're supposed to post them later." And she goes, "What are you talking about? You won. Your first place, you won. Go, you know." And I was like, "What?" And I looked, sure enough, first place, Wakanda Forever. I was ecstatic.
Mm.
So that's the behind the scenes part of it. Then they display them. I had tears. I went into this, I don't know what to call it. Uh, what is it called? Basically, the area where they have all the winners on display and all the honorable mentions. And I remembered walking over there and just seeing how the kids were reacting. Just, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the adults were like, "Oh my God, that, you know, those are from Black Panther, you know." And I remember this itty bitty, he scared the hell out of me. I was standing there looking at this little boy, walked up, and he, "Wakanda forever," you know. It just blew my mind how people reacted to it. And that's what really keeps me going, seeing how people react.
Mm-hmm.
Even the people that are like, "Oh my God, these are voodoo dolls." It's like, oh, that's not a voodoo doll. I know a guy, if you want a voodoo doll, he can get you one, but my dolls aren't voodoo dolls, right? So, um, even the negative feedback that I get about them, it motivates me. But the positive feedback is just priceless. And just that build up. You send in your entries and you wait. And just getting the word. And all I ever wanted was just to have my dolls on display, because my mentor told me that's word of mouth. You're getting your name out there. You don't have thousands of dollars to do commercials or to, you know, put ads out. Use that to build up your business. So figure out
Mm-hmm.
unique ways to get your name out there, right? So sure enough, I entered those. People wanted to buy them, but I was like, no, I can't sell these dolls. I just can't. And I can't show you now. I have a trophy case that I keep all the dolls that win in.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I'm just going to keep those forever. Um, but it was just priceless to me. And it's a nice medium where you can compete and you can sell your wares too. So it's really cool.
I like it. That's
Yeah.
dope. I like it. And what is it, just to give me a little quick, a little quick part? Oh, cause I would like to know, when you, is it like, do you have to do a lot of let me see, planning and organizing when you get in there? Like, do you gotta put all your stuff together? Is it a lot of work getting from where you at now to that place when you was in the events, or did you have it figured out?
You know, they do a lot of the work for you.
Oh,
They
what?
have a directive coordinator. Yeah, you know, you give them your things and you give them your items. I've learned to submit more than one doll. Um, I think, yeah, last year my Steph Curry doll won. I did him by himself. I wanted to have all the Warriors, but I ran out of time. So Steph Curry won. I did Judge Jackson, the new Supreme Court justice. She won.
Mhm.
And I did LeVar Burton as the Jeopardy host. So all three of those won. I blew my mind. So I took first place. What did he win? Third place. And then the judge's choice. So I go in there. I'm like, okay, I know I placed. And I walked over there. And then I see my dolls just on display. And I thought, oh my gosh.
Oh
The only thing I
man.
didn't like, they put Curry too close, because I had him like holding a basketball, like palming it, and kids, they can't help it. They touched it, and I was like, no, you got to put
Miss
back.